Hi, I want to show you this little piece of knitting that I have grafted. Forever, I have looked for a flat seam for the side of my garments that looks good. The mattress stitch is bulky. It's no matter how small, even if you take it out of the very, very edge, gives you an underseam. So then I go for flat and they give me the Bickford. And the Bickford is flat, but it's not pretty. Even if this was in the same color, the Bickford always shows. And they try to make it look like knitting, but really when I look at a Bickford seam, it never looks good to me. So I've rejected the Bickford seam as a flat seam, and I've been frustrated forever. None of my knitting mentors make a good graft. They all like the mattress stitch mostly. That's what everybody grows for. Well, I'm going to put some pretty visible seams on my garments, and I just don't want any. I want flat, beautiful, gorgeous. So I have figured out how to graft my side seam differently than the Bickford. So it's the better Bickford, or just it's a grafted seam. Here's the inside. This is the Bickford up here. This was a slip stitch. I'll show you about what to do about that guy. So these little stitches back and forth, and they're flat, flat, flat. So I'm real happy. I spent a morning just saying, now how would it look if it was absolutely done correctly? And I think as I spread these apart, it looks like any other stitch that I spread apart. So it really, to me, looks very exactly like knitting, minus that big stitch with the pin on it. So I'm going to go take this apart and come back and show you how I did this little graft. So here's my little swatch. Let's look at this edge. We should all be familiar with the stockinette edge. A knot, little knot, loop, knot, loop, knot, rolls around, loop, knot. So let's take a look at the knot that we're only going to deal with the knots, not the loops. So let's learn the anatomy of the knot. Here we've got this little guy that comes around. That is the guy that would be here and here and here and here. This guy, when you follow to what it is, you'll see that it is the front. It comes from the front of the stitch. So we don't want to mess with that guy very much. Distort him. This stitch is the stitch. These little guys in here, usually they're smaller, I've stretched them out. These are the stitch that if you were continuing knitting, that would go on. So we'll call that the little inside stitch or the large outside stitch. Now this large stitch, we don't want to distort, so we're only taking it up. This stitch, we can distort all we want. It has nothing to do with the front. So let's get ourselves together. Oh, let me talk about this pin. When I was knitting, I almost undid it and redid it because I've slipped a stitch and don't have a knot. But I realize you will probably slip a stitch and not have a knot. It's a common thing, so I thought I'd leave it and deal with it. So we have knot, knot, no knot. I found the place where this comes in, it rolls around, and that's the end. So we're going to treat that as a knot, the whole thing. Now, let's check out our edge. Hook it together so we stays closed. Let's check out our knitting edge. We have the first row. The first row starts, goes around, our first knot happens on the other edge, comes back. So our first knot is on the far edge, right there. Let's take our, I'm not going to use the tail. Let's take a little piece of thread and sew it up the way, put it in the way that if it were a tail, this is where it would go. And we'll just let that be the mock piece of tail that I'm not using. And then we'll come over here and we're going to find the knot. So, there we go. There's the knot. And then we're going to go up and find the little stitch that's above it, the next knot. And we're going to loop it through. That's our setup for a knot, a little knot to a big knot to a little knot, or to the, a little knot to a little knot. No, a little knot to a big knot to a little knot. There you go. So as you see these little guys, the larger part of the knot, it comes in. These are staggered up and down. So you put your stitches in such a way that the bottom's even and they're staggered. Don't try to even up your sides to make them look the same. Okay, we go into the first big part and we go out the little part of the knot and we go across. So the big part, the first part that you grab, is the one that you don't want to distort. You go straight up, and then you go up to the next knot. You grab its little side that's in there, and that's the one that you take your yarn across. And that is the full stitch all the way, again and again. So we're gonna, if you can't find it, spread it out, find the last one, then you know where to go up to the next big stitch. There you go. Then we find the inside small knot, and that's the one, come on, that's the one that we take to the other side. Outside loop of the knot, up into the inside of the next knot. And it's that simple, except now I've come to our little, oh, have I not yet? No, not yet. Up one from where you came. It's actually the same stitch. You know how when you're grafting, you go into the same stitch? Well, that's what you're doing when you go back into the knot again, is you're going into that loop again. So it is the same movements as normal grafting. Okay, now we're going to deal with this little guy. We come into the big loop from before. We go over, we say that's the little part of the knot, and we pull it across to the other side. And over here, now over here we have our big stitch up to the next knot, find our smaller stitch, go across. Okay, now we're going to deal with this guy again. Now he's the big stitch. First time we used him as the small stitch, now we're using it as the big, going above and grabbing the next knot's little stitch. There we go. We're done with this. And now we'll continue with a flow that's normal. You find the next. If you splay it apart, and there you go, that's the next large. And then come up and grab the small of the next knot. See how that big inside stitch is so large? It almost, you can't say large and small. You have to say outside of the knot and inside of the knot for this one, because that's a big little knot. I've messed with this a lot. Poor piece. Okay. Large. We'll call these stitches different things. It's the outside and large, the inside and small part of the knot. But, you know, the small can get big. So we're just going to continue up. Normally, it's an easier process because you can hold it in your hands instead of having it laid on a table in front of you. But we all want to see what I'm doing. So, old stitch, old knot, new knot. So just like grafting, you go into where you had been before and then go to the next stitch. So the big knot and the little knot are at one stitch. Here's part of it. And now I go up to the next knot. There's its little side. And when I come back, I'll grab its big side. Come on. Right now it's easier to do on the table, but if you were holding it, you would be faster, more efficient than this. And now we're at the other part of the knot, the large side. So we've entered it twice. Discrepancies on the front side, nicely staggered. Discrepancies on the front side come if I split a stitch, if I pull too hard. Just like normal grafting, you're going to have discrepancies. And they, like grafting a normal stitch, discrepancies show. So making an effort not to split your plies and to keep things uniform will make it look really good on the outside. This little test piece has been messed with so much, but I have seen these stitches looking just absolutely perfect. So if you've got an unmessed with garment and you just do a normal grafting stitch, it should look like your normal knitting. You like the little rainbows? Give you rainbows for your viewing entertainment for the day. A little distracting for me here. Up, over. I'd probably split that stitch and it's probably not going to be pretty on the other side. Up, over. The old stitch, a new stitch. Nope. What do we see? Almost there. Poor little purple thread is wearing out. Okay, next guy up. Next guy up. And you can do it as 2 movements. It's efficient. Okay, let's see what we have here. Next guy up, and yeah, next guy up. Find a little knot above it. And that looked like the end. Come over here, what do I have? A guy that I can go up to. I'll figure it out. Maybe I'm wrong, but we'll just do that for now. Okay, give it a stretch, a pull, unevenness. I didn't try, I just put them together. I wasn't pulling hard, I wasn't pulling lightly, I just put them together. So let's see what we've got. All right. Yeah, very nice. Can't tell where the pin is. That looks good. I can see my gauges are a little different as I stretch. But as I stretch those apart and I stretch these apart, it's the same construction. So we've added a few little threads, but we've done the same construction that would have happened with this guy had it been knit. Ta-da! We'll wash it, see what we get. Thank you.